Senior economist with SPM Professionals, Paul Alaje, joins me now in the studio. Thank you very much, Mr. Paul, for joining us.
Thank you so much
on the show. Let's start this way. Transaction will attract 3% processing fee, withdrawals, and 2% for lodgements. How does this come to you?
First, we understand that it costs a lot of money for us to handle money. CBN prints money with a lot of money. So printing 5 naira is almost 5 naira equivalent. It really doesn't make sense. We have lost value of our money long time ago, over the years, because of inflationary reasons, devaluation of currency, particularly almost 70 to 80% devaluation of Naira in 2016 to 2017. So if 1 naira face value is still the same paper, the cost of the money has increased over time. Government needs to look for a long-lasting solution to discourage people from spending cash, still spending money, but now not fiat money, which of course is paper that we put in our hands. Perhaps this is one of the reasons why the CBN, Monetary Authority, is saying that don't spend cash, use electronic banking for withdrawal. Now, where I have issues because of time with all of these is I don't think there is a justifiable reasons for you to want to charge those who are depositing. Now, this is it. 500 naira today was equivalent of 250,000 naira in 2012, thereabouts. So even if you want to do that, I think the cap is too small for an individual who wants to deposit, because what 500,000 naira will buy today was equivalent of what 250, 260 was buying in 2012. You can use deflation figures, you can use inflation figures, you can use a devaluation that was done. How much was $1 then? How much is $1 now? So it really doesn't make sense to want to put the cap at 500. But this is my take, of course, which I've made public in print media. I don't think it's justified to want to charge people who want to put money in, say, banking system. Our argument is we want it to be cashless. We don't have to create policy that will discourage people from coming to the banking system.
Exactly.
So it's really not fine. Now, to discourage people from withdrawal, it makes sense. Why? Because when we charge you, we are telling you, we will not charge you if you use electronic banking. We will not charge you if you write check. So there are options. Which other options do Nigerians have when they don't deposit? What other thing can they do? Electronic banking cannot take cash. We don't yet have that abracadabra method that will convert cash.
So it's not yet as effective as it's supposed to be.
So
we have to work on that technology.
We need to work on that technology. I don't think central bank should take that. I think central bank should take opinions of Nigeria and drop the idea of charging on deposit, whatever the amount. Once in the banking system, your policy can still catch up with it. But you want to implement that on deposit, I think we'll be wanting to do too much at the same time. It is true that we need money as a country. It is true that government needs to generate revenue. It is true central bank could also help doing that, but it is not good enough to do that while public perception is negative.
All of this is centered one way around financial inclusion, trying to get more Nigerians included, perfect in the banking system. But looking at these challenges we've identified, do you think Nigerians are well educated, enlightened about why they need to be included? We have big markets in villages where millions of naira have been transacted every day, and there are no banks in places like that.
I'll tell you this. The argument has been from authorities that it's because of a level of education, particularly in the rural area. I did a research in 2014, and I discovered in about 9 local governments, using Benue State as example, of the 9 local governments, 6 of them don't have one single banking presence. I mean deposit money bank, commercial bank in Nigerian language, or other financial institutions talking about microfinance, but not one single banking presence. A lot of farming activities, thousands and hundreds and millions of money exchanging us directly in that regard. Will introducing charge on deposit encourage them or discourage them? Your guess, of course, is as good as mine. If you charge them, they will even discourage to use traditional banking, which of course is banking sector. You don't catch them. But what has technology done? What has telecom done? In 2000, telecom became entrenched in Nigeria, became more popular in 2002. In fact, today, in those villages of Ohimini, in those villages of Abak, in different parts of the country today, people now use telephone. How do we encourage them to bank using telephone and using agency banking? I think that's the right policy CBN should consider. They have it already, but how do we extend it and mandate it for other financial institutions and also for DMBs to implement it and get more people to bank with them, rather than saying that if you have over 500,000, you might think they live in the rural area, but of course, they can afford 500,000 right there.
CBN is pushing for this. Many say that the role of the banks is even far. Banks need to do more to encourage people to come into the system. We still have issues of people being scared to even use the ATMs. Yeah. You have network problems. You have issues that you have to go for days to rectify all of this. So if you're moving us to this, what do we need to do as Nigerian? Sure, people who keep storing their monies with other means. People still use other means to save money at home.
I would discourage people from doing that, whether you keep your money at home or under your pillow.
Exactly.
Definitely, there is one body called inflation. Mr. Inflation will eat your money wherever you keep it. Best way to keep your money is to put it in savings. You get microscopic interest. It's better than keeping it under your pillow. Or you put it in investment where you get either treasury bills or bond, or you want to do FD with commercial banks where you get between 11% to 14% the case may be, so that you can conquer Mr. Inflation is 11.02% today. But to keep the money under your pillow, or to say because CBN wants to enact policy you will not implement, I'm afraid you are taking the wrong decision. What we should do to join voice with, say, House of Representatives and indeed Nigerian Senate, or perhaps to let Mr. President hear what Nigerians are saying. And I'm sure the leadership of Mr. Emefiele is leadership has been listening to Nigeria, Mr. Isaac Okorafor. There are people that are listening to what Nigeria is saying. And I'm hopeful that in the coming period, they will start consultation beyond the banking sector, consultation with private sector, consultation with other Nigerian rural community to see how they are taking this. And I can bet you they are not taking it forward.
Before I let you go, Paul, I like your comment on the adversary team. Many expect a lot from this. But this time, when we expect them to synergize with the executive, that's the ministers and all of them, to get the ball rolling and move us away from where we're supposed to be. What do you expect of the Professor Doyin Salami-led team?
A great thing. Economists, I respect these people. They came with name recognition. I'm happy Mr. President is taking this decision. I was expecting this 4 years ago, but I'm happy we are having it now. What do I expect from them? What are the macroeconomic indicators? Number one, Nigeria must go beyond 3% GDP growth rate. Inflation, population growth rate is 3%. An economy is not growing when population growth rate and GDP growth rate, they are par. We need minimum of 6% GDP growth rate to achieve all the goals we set for ourselves in 2020. I'm also expecting out-of-school children to crash from 13.2 million, in fact, to less than 1 million out-of-school children. You wonder why this is an economic indicator. I'll tell you another economic indicator from GDP is called Human Development Index, which is a combination of what is happening to health, what is happening to education, and more importantly, what is happening to income. Mr. President had told us June 12th that he will lift 100 million people out of poverty, which means by this time next year, 10 million people should have been out of poverty. Courtesy National Bureau of Statistics. And I believe our economic team, or say Economic Advisory Council, I hope will make them National Economic Council, so that they can have day-to-day work. They can resign the work they are doing wherever they may be and make it hands-on. Work as that coordinating ministry, coordinating organization, from health to education to agriculture, because they know what global indicators are, and they can talk to respective ministry. On behalf of Mr. President, this is what happened in the United States, where President Trump was advised, if you continue to trade with China, you'll be losing $500 billion on an annual basis. President Trump is not taking that lightly. I hope this will be the same idea that Nigerians are advising Mr. President in terms of economy. We do things that will not make President Buhari to take economic issue lightly. It will take it the way it's taking corruption. And Nigeria, of course, will lift over 10 million people out of poverty by this time next year.
Paul, it's nice having you. You're in Lagos now. Maybe next is going to be in Abuja. But we're going to talk again. We really need to talk again. A lot of things to talk about. Thank you so much, Paul.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, let's...